It's Saturday, October the 4th, 2025. And, well, yesterday was a long and tiring day. I didn't get out here until fairly late. I think it's 4 o'clock or something. Spent most of the day, I had to unload the truck, of course, for everything I brought home. And then I was labeling some jars and getting ready for a trip to my northern stores tomorrow. I would have liked to have gone today, but the weather turned out to be pretty nice. You can see the sun is really bright in my eyes right now. So I thought I'd come out here and at least get a start on my Oxalic Acid Vapour. This was actually by rotation, it was due yesterday. So I need to get on this. I don't want to get out of rotation too badly. But there's something I want to share with you here today with my Oxalic Acid Vapour applications. And you know that it was last fall, my retailer and the manufacturer of the InstantVap Compact let me try this one out to see how I liked it and to share my comments with you. And the stipulation on both sides was that I'm only going to tell you the truth. I'm no salesperson, right? I'm not selling things at all, other than, I mean, obviously giving me the product. I get nothing. I don't have a coupon code for you or anything like that. The retailer involved in this was Dancing Bee, Manitoba, and of course then the manufacturer InstantVap over Europe. So I've talked to the manufacturer quite a bit, Janos. He's coached me on the product and told me about the virtues of it and how to use it exactly. Now I do want to talk about a little bit this InstantVap Compact. The things I really like about it is it's pretty fast. I think it's doing 2 grams in 20 seconds or something like that. I'd have to go back to my video last year to know all that. But the first thing I noticed when I saw these was the build quality. Like, the build quality of this is complete stainless steel plate, laser cut, you know, bent and assembled and put together. It's simplistic and it's robust, and it actually has a replaceable brass nozzle, not a copper nozzle. Copper nozzles get, in my experience, they get very soft when they get hot, and this is replaceable. You could spin that off and replace that if you were to damage it in any way. Talked to my retailer and he said he's never had anybody, he said he has people buy them. When they buy a unit, they'll buy a tip. I suspect that those are former ProVap users like myself, and but he said he's never had anybody come and buy that tip because this one got damaged or unusable. So that's a real testament. The dispensers, of course, are again robust and simplistic. You dial your dose there, a little plunger inside, you dial your dose, you stick it in the acid, you put it in there, as you've seen me use these things. So they gave me this one last fall, and I used it once. I did 1 round of vapor with it, and I loved it so much that I went over the next day and I bought one. So, you know, if that's not a testament, I don't know what is, because, you know, they're not cheap. I did invest in that. Oxalic Acid Vapour, that's kind of the point, is it doesn't cost you much at all per treatment. It costs you for your equipment, your PPE, etc. So your vaporizer, your mask, your respirator, stuff like that. But those are one-time costs, sorta. You know, I've burned through a ProVap and a couple Larabi's vaporizers, and they just don't hold up. The ProVap held up really well, but the bowl started to leak, and I couldn't make it stop leaking. So then this thing came out, and, you know, I've used it for about a year now, and I've vaporized a lot. I never used to vaporize in the spring. I vaporized every 4 days, right up until honey flow. So this has gone through a lot of cycles. And I have, my big batteries are 5 amp, which is kind of the lowest amp battery that he would recommend. He kind of says you should go 6 and up, but the 5s do work just fine. Warming the unit up does take a bit of power, so by the time this 5 amp warms it up, you have, you know, a lot fewer colonies you can treat. Talking about a treat, I have a treat here, and I'm really excited to show you this. What we have here is a brand new InstantVap Turbo. InstantVap 18 volt Milwaukee Turbo. So I'm really excited to see this. This speeds up the burn time remarkably. It's got a great instruction manual, tells you all about it. Most of the operation of the thing is going to be like the Compact in the physical manner, but the major differences, besides it's a lot faster, the major difference is on the Compact, it has a power switch and an indicator light, and that's all. And I actually like that about this. It doesn't have a temperature display, it doesn't have any settings that you can change. There's a microprocessor control in here. It knows how much acid you've dropped in the bowl, and it times the burn. Appropriately, and so you just watch that light, and then when it's solid again, you go on to the next one. But I know a lot of people, when I show them this and I tell them how much I like it, they always say, "Oh yeah, I want buttons and things to play with, and I want, you know, a display that tells me the temperature, etc." So the manufacturer listened. That's really nice when manufacturer listens to you. And here's my brand new shiny InstantVap Turbo, and so Dancing Bee Manitoba supplied this along with the manufacturer. So it still has the indicator light to tell me what's going on. It has no physical power switch here. It has a power switch here. Honestly, I don't know why you need a power switch. You put the battery in and it should be on, but you know, they put a power switch anyway. So there are controls here. You can change the temperature and whatnot. In the box, we have a cleaning plug, so you can take the plunger out, put water in the cleaning plug, push it on there, and then hold it like that, so it doesn't jump out like it does. You saw on my channel just recently. And then it also comes with a couple of O-rings for replacing the O-ring on the plunger. They're so shiny when you get them. the acid really etches them over time, but it doesn't hurt the operation or the longevity of them at all. So that's the extent of what's down there. Now there's another part here that they provided, and it's an extendable kind of it's like a selfie stick or something. But if you're vaporizing through a top entrance or something that's up high, then you can put this handle in here. It's quite a tight fit with the O-rings. Get that in there, and then you can support the vaporizer. I'm running out of camera. You can support the vaporizer on the ground. If you know, you can just adjust that to whatever length you need, right? I think you get the idea. I don't know that you can use it as a way to not have to bend down because it's a loose joint there. So, but I used to vaporize through the side of the box, and since I got the InstantVap, I stopped doing that just because the InstantVap is so perfectly made for the entrance. The one other thing on this InstantVap Turbo that's very interesting is that with the display, you can access different settings, which can also access information. It'll tell you how many total cycles this unit has done. Now, I don't know what the intent is there. I suppose a person could, you know, use that like a car. If you're going to sell this to somebody, you could see, well, this thing only has, you know, 100 cycles on it or something. You can also check up on your employees. I suppose you send them out for the day and say you do this many hives. You come back and you can see the odometer on the InstantVap and see if they actually did it. So this is total number of cycles you can access, but you can also access the number of cycles with this battery. So that really tells you useful information. So you can increase and decrease the temperature and whatnot, which I have no intention of doing because it's set by the factory, really. So what I'll do here to start with, I'm going to put the box aside, and I'm going to have a little 2-gram vaporization showdown with these two units. I've got two brand new 5-amp batteries here. I'm going to set my plungers. I'm going to make a mess of the used plungers instead of the new one. I should turn these on. So I'm going to flip the switch and then see, this says off. I can hit it and it says something scrolled by. I didn't see it, but it's showing me the temperature now. So when the lights are solid, then we're ready to start treating. It does take a few moments to warm up. I'll get these set exactly the same, and then we'll just wait for these to warm up and we'll continue. The video doesn't show the display very well. The frame rate is similar, I guess. Okay, the turbo is up to 260 degrees, and the compact just came up to temperature. I want to say the InstantVap Turbo, the name of it corresponds with the word turbo to another product that just came out with that term, and it's purely coincidental. It's kind of weird how that happened, but two manufacturers of different units decided to call their unit their new offering turbo kind of at the same time. So anyway, let's make these go. I'm going to put my mask on, and we'll just see how long that takes to burn off. 2 grams. 2 grams. And away we go. Done. Well, it's still blowing out. But now it's done. So this is still treating. Now, that, I have to take my mask off so I can talk to you, but that was maybe not a very fair test, because I do know that when these units are new, the stainless bowl is not as efficient as after you've used it a few times, because the acid etches the bowl and it gets a better burn after that. So let's try this again. Okay, so that looked like a little better burn on this one, and it was definitely faster. So what I'm gonna do now, and I'll take you along, is I'll take the turbo and I'll go and treat my 6-frame nucs over there, because I can only use one vaporizer at a time because I need to hold it into the entrance. So let's go do that. I'm going to back these off to 3 grams. I was using 3 grams on these, seemed to work out. And I know that's more than what the recommendation is, but I'm too lazy to block the entrance, so quite a bit of it comes out. So I'm just I'm just putting extra in, so compensate for that. Okay, I like to run 2 plungers because they do get a bit warm, and that'll allow me to let one cool while I'm vaporizing. But with the turbo, it doesn't take very long, so it might not cool. I've got my silicone cover for the tube. I've cut it back because I found it protruded past the tube and the OA was collecting on there. So display is showing 260 degrees. And I'll just go to it. 3 grams. Bottomed out at 225 degrees. The treatment light has gone to warm-up mode. I think that's done. That's kind of crazy fast. Okay, another one. Boy, that burns fast. I'm leaving it longer than it's prescribed just because I can't believe it's that fast. Uh-oh. It burned through my battery. It's so hot, but so when I connected the new battery, it turned on again. It said total cycle 6. So that's when you can see the total cycles. But I have to hit the button. Okay, you can see how fast that is, and I've just replaced the battery again. Now, it does seem that I went through the batteries fairly quickly, but again, I was doing 3 grams, and the second battery, I took it off the other unit, so it had already had a few cycles and a warm-up period taken off that battery. I noticed that as I was using it, the display would cycle between the actual bowl temperature and the actual battery voltage. So you could watch, you know, you can maybe get an idea of how many cycles you've got left. Over time, you can get attuned to what that number means as far as how many cycles you have left. But you know, that's a real game changer here with certainly with the way I have to do these nucs holding the unit. The InstantVap Compact standard is more than good enough, right? It's an excellent product. It's very fast. The speed of this product is, it's turbo fast. It's lightning. You should have called it lightning, because it's a lightning fast. I'm quite impressed. I'm very, very impressed. It has the same awesome build quality as the Compact and whatnot. He did say that if the Compact causes any trouble at all, it maybe is going to be the power switch. Well, the power switch is gone. And so now we got the electronic controls. Yeah, so thank you very much for trusting me with trying out your product, InstantVap and Dancing Bee. I truly appreciate the opportunity, and I'm going to be using this to finish these colonies. Maybe it won't rain. It's not very warm. It's not hardly short pants weather, but you know, short pants anyway, right? It's 16 degrees C. It's not warm. That's, what is that, like 60 F, somewhere in there. So it's not that warm. But yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this InstantVap and finish these nucs and get this work done quicker. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you for watching. And you know, if you you know, looking for a vaporizer, give these guys a look, because I highly recommend this product. I've used quite a few vaporizers, and this is definitely, you know, the next evolution of vaporizers. It's really fantastic. Thanks for watching. Take care and have fun. It's Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. Now you can see I'm not only not in short pants, I'm wearing my smock. And it's actually just at that temperature where it's not cold enough to wear the smock, but it's a little bit cool to go in a t-shirt. So smock it is. It's definitely cooler today than last I spoke to you. It's very, very sunny. But there's a bit of a breeze, and it's kind of cool coming down kind of from the northwest. But last night, last evening about 9:30, we had a weather event that I just found fascinating. It lasted about 10 minutes, which was kind of strange. We were under a wind condition about 17 kilometers per hour. And if I remember, I'll put the conversion to miles an hour on the screen. And it was, you know, fairly consistent, 17 kilometers an hour. That's a fairly light breeze. And I noticed I was in the house, and I noticed just the wind came up outside. I could hear it blowing on the house. I looked at my weather station, and the wind speed outside went from 17 to 55 kilometers per hour in just a matter of a couple of minutes. And it blew hard for probably under 10 minutes, and then it went back to about 17 kilometers per hour. And I found that very, very odd. I looked on the weather radar online, and I could just see a north-south patch of cloud and storm moving across the landscape at an incredible pace. By the time I got to look at the radar, the system was gone over us and leaving us. We got a little bit of rain, but really not that much. But it was the wind. It was a very strong wind, and it was very, very short-lived, which I'm thankful for. Wind is one of the worst things I find. You can prepare for cold, you can prepare for rain, just about anything, but wind just goes from every direction, and it just keeps working on things until it wrecks everything. So I didn't have a lot of damage. There's a couple things blown around in the apiary here, but not a lot of damage that I've noticed anyway. So today is a beautiful day, very, very sunny, but not warm. It was 1 degree last night. It was 1 when I got out of bed. And so it's not early. It's probably 2 o'clock. I've been just working at other things until it got warm enough for me to come out here, because it's only about 8C right now, which is less than 50F. So I want to do some oxalic acid vapor here today. The other day when I was showing the new InstantVap, I treated all of the nucs, and today I want to treat all of the big colonies here. But more than that as well, I want to show the burn rate of this new InstantVap Turbo that I got. And the reason I want to rerun that in your presence is I realized when I did it that it really wasn't a fair demonstration. And why that is because I took this thing out of the box, I warmed it up, and I threw the acid in. And I compared the burn rate between that and my well-used InstantVap Compact. That was an unfair test, because what happens, and I know you can't see those, but what happens is the acid, if you can see how nice and shiny the stainless is, well, that's the same kind of inside, and the acid etches the metal. And that just kind of changes the dynamics of the properties of heat transfer, etc. So because this had never had acid in it, it really didn't burn optimally. I just checked here. I don't know if you can even see that. It says off. I've got the battery on it, but it says off. Well, if I press the down one, it'll tell me how many cycles. I'm trying to see it at the same time as you. It'll tell me how many cycles on this battery, which are 0 because I haven't turned it on yet. If I press up, then it allows me to change from C to F. So when I first attach the battery, it'll tell me the total number of cycles that the InstantVap Turbo has gone through. And so it scrolls there, it says 41. It's very quick. You've got to watch for it. So I'll do that again. So that says 41. Now, I have 43 colonies, and I know I didn't do the 2 that are over here because I got rained out. I finished the last 3 colonies in the rain, and so I packed up and went home that day. So now I'm not only in long pants, I got my smock on, and I'll do another burn off test here for you to see, so that we can compare the InstantVap Compact, which is this one, is very fast. I was left wanting for nothing with this unit, but the manufacturer is not happy with good enough. It's just not good enough. This is great, but he was not happy, so he made it even better. He made it even faster with the turbo unit. So I'll warm these 2 up, and then what I'm going to do is I'll warm them up on a battery, and then I'll switch the batteries to new 5-amp batteries, so that then we can get a count for how many cycles we're going to get on the batteries. Because I'll go and do vaporizations with the 5 amp batteries, and we'll count how many we got, because I don't think that the test I did the other day really was that accurate for various reasons. So I'll warm these up and bring you back. While the units warm up, I was looking through the instruction manual. Some really good information here as far as the operation and specs, and actually there's good information on warnings too about PPE and whatnot. And I know that it's best for me to wear gloves, but I'm not going to wear gloves. I know the dangers. I would suggest that you wear gloves, especially if you're new to using these. They're pretty safe, but it is acid. And this page, this is about the last page. There's more than one language, so this is the last English page. Manufacturer, I know you can't read that, it's too small. The manufacturer has done a test on the output and graphed it. So he shows the different temperatures and how much oxalic acid, how much formic acid, and how much CO2 is produced. And so I'll just read the the conclusions here. The ideal setting for the InstantVap Turbo is 260 degrees, according to this graph. At higher temperatures than 260, the oxalic acid content significantly drops, while formic acid content significantly increases. Speed was also taken into consideration because at higher temperature settings, the vaporizer works drastically faster. Vaporizing 2 grams of acid takes 25 seconds at 230 degrees, while it takes only 10 seconds at 260 degrees. So that's just a little bit of what's on this page, and I found that very interesting. And I've never seen the manufacturer of any other vaporizer do these tests and document the output of the vaporizer to exactly what's coming out of this thing. And I think that's critical because of the nature of oxalic acid vapor and the relationship between the acid and the vapor and temperature. So the turbo is up to temperature and the compact is not. So I think it's vital that we have that information. And it's vital that you have that information when you decide that you should change the temperature on the InstantVap Turbo, because I'm thinking that you might choose otherwise. So the turbo is up to temperature, and the compact is still working. It's a hotter element in the turbo. I mean a higher wattage element, and so I'm gonna burn these off now that they're both up to temperature. I won't be able to talk to you because I've got my mask on. This is a 2 gram test, and I'll tell you when, well, the turbo is going to finish first, but I'll tell you when they both finish. The turbo is finished. And now the compact is finished. It looked like it took too long with the compact, but we'll do that again. turbo is finished now. And the compact is finished now. As promised, I'll take both units over here and I'll put brand new fresh batteries, not brand new batteries, but freshly charged batteries on them. They're 5 amp batteries. The manufacturer suggests larger batteries, 6 or 8 amp, but that's all I have. So I do want to get some more batteries to help out with the capacity, but that's what I have right now. So that's what I'll use. I'll use 2 freshly charged 5 amp batteries, and we'll see how far they go. I'm far enough away from them that I can take this off. Now, I don't know that that was a very scientific or even fair comparison. I lost track of how many I did with each one, but it seemed like the turbo was treating 2 to 1 with the compact. And for the record, I've got them set at 4 grams. So I'm really blowing a lot of OA into these, getting them ready for winter. Now, having said all that, when it vaporized the last colony, the turbo battery was spent, and I don't know where the compact sits, but when I press the button it says 3 bars. So I don't know how many treatments that would have left in it. But boy, is that turbo ever fast. You know, when I got my first compact, I treated my yard, and I realized that even as fast as it is, I was still waiting on it. And I was looking for a solution where the speed at which I can treat the yard depends on my speed, not the machine's, so that I'm not waiting. So what I did was, I liked the unit so much, and it was really fast, that I went the next day and I bought a second compact. But if I had the turbo in that situation, I wouldn't have bought the second one, because it doesn't take much waiting on this one. Boy, it was fast. Like I say, I think it was treating almost 2 to 1 with the compact. So you've seen in the burn off, you've seen in the nucs how fast it is, and I like the fact that he's dialed in the temperature of the heater according to the scientific tests. Like, this was an actual test to see what was coming out of it, and I like that he dialed that in, not, you know, hearsay or what anybody else says. He did it. So I'm very, very impressed. I've got just 2 nucs yet to treat, and then I need to go to my outyard and treat over there. So I normally only take 1 vaporizer when I go to the outyard. There's only 16 colonies. Instead of dragging them both along, I guess I could. It really doesn't take that long, but I'm definitely taking the turbo, because that'll speed it up even at that. Well, I hope that was a fair comparison. I have one other thing I want to show you. It has to do with the support handle on it. So I'll go and grab that and kind of show you how that could be of use to me in my situation. Now, Difficulty with these poly hives is the entrance is more than 3/4 of an inch. In fact, it's almost an inch high. So even though I have the protective shield on the tube, it doesn't sit in there very well. So this handle will rest on the ground and support it into the hive. So I don't need to hold it by hand, and then I can make use of my second vaporizer. I'm going 3 grams with this treatment. This might not work because it's a little too high. I'll support it with my foot just to demonstrate, so I can put it in there. And honestly, it's so fast that you don't really it doesn't harm you much to not have the support, but if it's going to be useful to you, it's a really great addition. It's done now. I did this one yesterday, but I just want to demonstrate the support rod. So just kind of prop it up like that. It's a very nice addition. I think that was really well thought out. Okay, I'll stop going on and on about it. I'm pretty thrilled about it. I'm honored that they'd let me try it out, and I'm thrilled about how fast it is and whatnot. So I do recommend the product. I don't know what the retail price is in your area. You'll have to look that up and see if it's something that's cost effective in your area. Oxalic acid is so inexpensive for the acid itself that your chief cost is the vaporizer, batteries, of course, and a lot of people have a battery system they're using already. I didn't buy any batteries for what I'm doing. I do want to buy a couple more to increase my capacity, but the other thing really is the mask. This is a really nice 3M. This is a 6900. It's a 6900. It's a large. So if you're not a big guy like me, I got a really big melon. I never wear like a baseball cap kind of thing because it looks ridiculous on me. So yeah, I'll leave you with that. Thanks for joining me for this. I appreciate it. And I think I'm going to go over to my outyard and do a treatment there. Take care and have fun. This is a really nice feature. Even when the unit is off, it tells you that it's still hot. It's 82 degrees. I really like that because that'll protect you from touching this unit even though it's off. Now, you disconnect the battery, of course, that's going to go out. It's Thursday, October 9, 2025. I'm at my outyard, as you can see. I didn't get here on Tuesday. Other stuff came up. I didn't get here, and I didn't get here Wednesday. I went to Winnipeg. But I'm here today, and part of the reason I want to be here is today is the warmest day in the forecast, the near future forecast. Daytime high today, I think they were saying 18 degrees. It's mostly sunny, a little breeze, but this yard is nicely sheltered, so I don't feel much breeze in here. And so I want to do a couple things. I want to, of course, treat these with Oxalic Acid Vapour. And I'm going to be running a little bit of test with the turbo as well, because I know in this yard I can bring 2 5-amp batteries, and I'll warm up the compact, and I'll treat half of the yard plus a couple. So that's like, 9 or 10 I'll treat. So people have been asking me, the turbo is fast, but does it use up more battery? And I can ask the manufacturer all I want, but I really want to test this out for you. That's why it's here. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm making this video for you. So we're going to see if the turbo will treat at least 9. And I'm using 4 grams in these. So it's I'm putting it to the test. But I've got something else I want to show you before we get into treating. And you can kind of see it right here. I picked up a little toy. This is a little handheld chainsaw, and it's not a Milwaukee tool. This is really not an expensive tool. It cost me $80 all in on Amazon. Uses my Milwaukee M18 batteries. So I think that's genius of tool manufacturer to leverage, the momentum that Milwaukee has on their batteries. I'm not a carte blanche fan of that sort of thing. Specifically batteries. I will not buy knockoff batteries, because those things are what burns your shop down. They're not built to the same specifications as Milwaukee, and they will overheat and catch fire pretty easily. Look at a big helicopter coming here. I think that's what they call I think that is what we call the STARS helicopter. That's a air ambulance service, and the bees are coming at my mic, and I just got stung here. So anyway, I haven't used it. I've got a battery on it. I've put the chain oil in it that they provide. It comes with a 8-inch chain, a bar and chain. It comes with a 6-inch bar and chain. A little safety thing here, I guess, so that you don't cut under a log and have it kick back on you. Of course, I'm familiar with that, and so I would be prepared with it. So it's got a good safety here that you have to squeeze sideways in order to make it go. You can go either way, left or right-handed. And then this is kind of a auxiliary handle for giving her more snooze, as my dad would say. So I'm anxious to kind of try this. So I'm going to try find a bit of a tree here and see if I can cut it down. I have permission, so let's try it out. What's handy is I can't get near this little tree, so I'll limit. Chain is nice and sharp out of the box, so it cuts well. Well, you have to respect chainsaws. You can get hurt pretty bad with chainsaws. So I'll cut it here where you can sort of see. I don't like getting down on the ground, but I almost knocked you down. So that's a solid 2-inch tree that it went through very quickly. I like it. That's 3 bars out of 4 left. So I think you could cut quite a bit on one charge. I noticed something that I think is probably a safety feature. When I pull the trigger, it doesn't start up right away. So if I bump the trigger, there's a little lag there. And you have to really mean it. You can't very easily bump the trigger mistakenly. Okay, that's awesome. I'm very glad I bought that, and I hope it lasts a while. It's a cheap tool, so it may not last very long, but I got work to do over here. I want to check a colony or two for just to see how much brood is left in these, see how the syrup stores are looking, and then I'll put them all back together and do some oxalic acid. I can see the pails are sort of pushed aside because we've had some pretty heavy winds. So I have to fix that. I may just take them off and put the feed plugs back in. Okay, let's get at this. I have to wear my little veil. Didn't bring my nice one. The smoker's in good tune. My giant Bee Wares smoker. So that pail is empty. Oh, that pail's empty. That's the second pail. So I would expect this hive to be chock full of syrup. Let's see. I like the way it looks so far, population-wise. It's not the most populous colony. Well, we'll see. I've got my cheap Chinese hive tool here, which I'd probably end up bending, but that's the way it goes with these things. Now, I want to get some of this wax off of the opposing frame and lift that out. I've got my lifter gripper over there, so if I need it, I can bring it over. Okay, so this is, you know, it's not really what I want to see. That's not what I want to feel either. Just stung on the end of the thumb. They have not cured up and sealed all the syrup that they've put in this frame. So keep going. This one is a little farther along, but again, hopefully in the next few days they can dry that and cure it down. What I really want to see here is a distinct lack of brood. We're trying to shut them down, get them into dormancy for winter. Now, here's some empty cells. I don't see anything in them. There's some brood here, though. There's not a lot in those cells. But this hive actually has a lot more brood than I was kind of thinking it would. There's a pretty nice looking nest. There's no eggs. There's open cells, but there's no larva present, which normally I would be concerned with, but this time of year, that's what I want. I don't want any laying. I don't want any additional brood right now. They can pick that up again in a month or two. Yeah, empty cells. There's the queen. She's a nice black queen. This is one of those original Italian buckfast queens. So I see some plump larvae in that, but I mean, that's a big patch of brood. So I need to keep feeding these. I need to keep feeding this colony. I'll have to bring some pails over tomorrow, because these empty cells need to be filled with syrup. As simple as that. Oh, former yellow jacket. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. That's all I wanted to see. It's not really what I wanted to see. I thought they'd be farther along than that. So, how does that relate to what I'm doing here today? I'm applying oxalic acid vapor. I think you know how that applies, how that relates. It doesn't do me any favors, because those cells, those sealed brood cells, will more than likely contain at least some varroa. Okay, I think I'll just check that one on the other side. I think I'll only check 2. This one's more populated, and this is one of my brand new 2025 queens. So my brand new queen has outperformed at this point that Italian buckfast. I talked to another beekeeper, said that those Italian buckfast were no good. I don't have enough experience to draw a conclusion, but I certainly had enough experience to not argue with them. Try to get this outside frame, but I don't want to rip open a big swath of syrup at the same time. I should have my lifter, but I'm gonna give it the old college try, as they say. Of course, I didn't go to college, so I might screw this up. Yeah, that's nice and fat. Yeah, that's totally shut down. Well, I mean, it's the outside frame, so let's keep going. Okay, so there is open cells, but there might be some very young larvae in some of those. I don't see eggs. Oh, another former yellow jacket. Wow. Oh, this is not what I wanted to see. This is all brood, all sealed brood. Wow, big patch there as well. So this is a young queen. That's typical of a young queen. She will lay quite prolifically for a long time into fall. I just have to make sure I do my mite treatments accordingly, which means a lot longer. Look at that. That's almost, I don't know that you can see, it's kind of in the shadow. It's almost a slab here. So also means I need more feed. These things need to have 10 frames of syrup before winter. So it's going to take some more feed. I might be buying more sugar if this doesn't turn around. Oh, that's what I want. Those really heavy cap syrup frames. All right, well, that's what I needed to see, and that's not what I wanted to see. 9th of, what is it, the 9th of October, I said. And they're gonna haul some more syrup over here. I don't know, they'll take another pail. They might take a half a pail. This is me 160. You know, I got about 100 liters at home, and that's, I'll bet, what these hives will take, another 100 liters. My friend Corey, you saw him on a video in my yard, in this yard, this summer. He got a compact, and he was struggling with getting the oxalic acid to collect in the dispenser when he pushed it into the acid. And I did too when I started. And that's because the acid was too dry. Just in this container, I'll put 1 or 2, actually 2 or 3 of these bottle caps of water in here. Just kind of mix it around. Gives it enough stickiness that it will hold in the dispenser. Now, I'll get this compact, or this turbo, going. There's 56 treatments on it now, and I'll turn it on. Let's see what happens. We'll have to wait for it to warm up, and then, like I say, I should be able to do half of this yard plus 1 or 2 on one battery, and then I have my second battery here. So I need to take the veil off and get that respirator on. You see the display, it's cycling between temperature 159, 160 and 17.5 volts. It'll treat well until it gets down to about 15.5 volts. The display doesn't show well on the camera due to the frame rate, but it's easy to see in full sunlight. I can look at that display in full sunlight and still read what it says. That's a really nice attention to detail by the manufacturer. I did not expect that. That 5 amp battery warmed up the turbo and treated 14 colonies with 4 grams of OA. My compact will warm up the vaporizer and treat 9 or 10. So when people ask me, does it use more battery? It absolutely saves battery based on that test. I'll continue to watch for that though, because I certainly didn't expect that. I'll try not to go on and on about it because I already have, but it was really fast and economical on the batteries. Had a conversation the other day with some beekeepers, and the question always comes up, where's the break even? You know, what size beekeeper is this meant for? And I know the manufacturer has his target, if I may say, of which beekeeper. But the way I figure it is, in my area, Formic Pro runs, say, about $6. Apovar runs about $6 for a single. And for a single on both, like, you know, 2 pads of Formic Pro, 2 pads, two strips of Apovar. And so, you know, if you're running 100 colonies, and that's $600 for 1 round of treatment. And I realize it's hard to compare apples to apples because Formic Pro is a different kind of treatment. You know, it'll get some of the mites under the caps. Apovar is a different kind of treatment. It'll kill for, you know, 6 weeks sort of thing. So regardless of that, just saying, well, how much does a round of treatment cost? Well, when I used to run about 150 colonies, I would go to the store and buy a round of treatments. It would be $900. Well, that's, I think, less than 8 in my area. And factor in I've got a really nice respirator here, say 200 for that. Batteries, I'm not going to count batteries because I think the assumption is, just like that little chainsaw, somebody has got a system already. They've got the battery system already with the chargers and whatnot. So, I mean, you can add that if you like, but that gives you an idea of what level of beekeeper. So, you know, when you're talking Formic Pro, you're talking Apovar, which those are great treatments. I used Formic Pro this summer. I was very happy with it, but it's just a different treatment. So if you're talking those treatments, and you're talking even, you know, $600 for 100 colonies, that's every year, right? You spend, say if you set yourself up, it costs you $1,000 or so to set you up with this system. That's one time. And the fact that the oxalic acid is so inexpensive, it's not even, almost not calculable how much that is adding to the cost. It's all infrastructure. So that's just kind of the way I think about it and the way I sort of answered that question. So, you know, if you're in the market for something like that, boy, I highly recommend that unit. I'm super happy with it. It's made this job so fast, so easy. And then I can do 4 and 5 day intervals because it's painless. Like, it takes me a few minutes. All right, I'll stop going on and on about it. I really appreciate you watching. Looks like I have some feeding to do. Well, the phone rang again. That's okay, customer calls are always welcome. And yeah, I'm going to clean up here and then head back home. I think the rotation is to treat my nucs today. So I'm going to get that turbo working at home. And I really appreciate you watching. Take care and have fun.